Well, hi there, everybody. You're traveling with Jack and, of course, my beautiful heavenly wife, Pam. We're in beautiful Orlando, Florida on this January day in the middle of the pandemic still taking place. And I do have a ticket, though, to go to Disneyworld, celebrating our wedding anniversary. Of course, Pam's in heaven, but I hope she's here with me. But the point of the video is to give you guys an idea of what it's like visiting Disney World at just 30% of capacity in the middle of a pandemic. I've got my mask. I'll be putting it on once we enter the park. Now that, of course, is the first challenge of the day. Take a look and you can see the parking lots behind me. There may be a lot of empty spots, but there are several full spots as well. Now, the first challenge that I've already encountered is I've been walking for a while. That's because the trams aren't operating. So you want to be in good physical condition to make your way towards the park entrance. First time I've ever been here that they didn't offer the tram service. But that's okay. We all need our exercise, and of course we'll get plenty of it as we go about the park today. So again, that's our first encounter here so far as how things are different during the pandemic in visiting Disney World. We'll talk more once we're inside the park. Okay, so now we're at the main entrance of the park. We've made our little hike from the parking area. And up ahead is where, first of all, before you can enter the park, you're going to need to get a temperature screening. Don't want anybody going in the park who might be a carrier of COVID-19. And of course, by the time you get up to this way, the masks are going to be mandatory. Once we're inside, we'll take a look and give you an idea of what the actual park experience is going to be like today. Okay, so now we're inside the main park entrance, which is back behind me, where of course people purchase their tickets, or in the most cases now, it is reserved passes that you're going to have, and then you'll just have your barcode swipe. Now up ahead, I've got some good news. While we did have to walk from the parking areas to get to the Magic Kingdom and Epcot entrance here, the monorails are operating. So that's some good news there, as you can no doubt see. Now the other thing you can no doubt see is the fact there is not a massive crowd here. So while we have the inconvenience of wearing a mask and having our temperature checked before we go in and things like that, probably going to be pretty nice today because the crowds will be very, very small. Again, the park is operating at 30% of capacity. So we're going to head up, get on the monorail, and then make our way inside to the beautiful Magic Kingdom. Okay, well, check what I told you first. We're not going to be taking the monorail. They're telling us now that the ferry boat is the quicker way to get into the park. And I'll tell you, in all the years that we've come to the Magic Kingdom, I've never once taken the ferry boat to get in the park. So a brand new experience. And you can see as we look around, there's going to be a pretty good crowd of us, I think, on the boat. And there it is up ahead. And off in the distance there, you can no doubt see the Magic Kingdom, the castle that is. So here we go, headed towards the old ferry boat. Once again, now we'll check in with you once we're inside the park. So now we're on board the actual ferry boat that's going to take us over to the Magic Kingdom. And I'm assuming the people that are up close together, these are families. Now, of course, I'm just by myself, so no problem doing the social distancing thing for me. They also remind you as you get on the boat to have that mask completely up and covering both the nose and the mouth. So here we go, first time ever taking the ferry boat over to the Magic Kingdom. So we've made our way off the ferry now and getting ready to go into the main entrance of the Magic Kingdom. That first entrance is the one, I don't know, I get all these entrances mixed up here. But let me show you what's going on now, though, as we are now across into the main park. Not so sure about that physical distancing thing taking place. I do see that everybody's wearing their mask, and they do have these markers for the 6-foot distance. So I'm not sure people are keeping their distance unless that's just one really, really big family. But nonetheless, I still feel pretty safe here because, of course, I'm by myself. No problem for me to distance from people. But there we are up ahead, almost there. So again, once we're inside, we'll give you a quick look at what the park experience looks to be today here at beautiful Disney World, Florida. Well, we've made it into the park, got our electronic ticket scan, made it through the main entry, and now we are in beautiful Disney World's theme park. Now, as I look around, though, you can see, wow, this is 30% of capacity, and there is still a lot of people here. but I can tell you it's not wall to wall like we've all been accustomed to if you've ever been to Disney World or Disneyland. I'm almost thinking as I look at the sea of people here, this is the way they ought to do it all the time. Cut down the capacity and give everybody a little bit more of an enjoyable experience. Up ahead there you can see the beautiful Magic Kingdom Castle. I do think though once we get a little deeper into the park, I'm sure the crowds will be much less. And we'll check in with you there in just a few minutes. So now we're in Tomorrowland, one of our first stops here in Disney World. You can see the crowds have thinned out a little bit, and my thought was, okay, we're operating at 30% of capacity. What's the wait time going to be like? Well, this is the Space Ranger Spin Buzz Lightyear's ride, and wow, 45 minutes at the standby entrance. Fast pass the way to go, and of course, I don't have a fast pass. So 45 minutes, nah, I think not. We'll walk around a little bit more and maybe find something we can get into without so much of a wait. I will let you know too that the park folks here are constantly reminding people to keep their mask over their noses and mouth, even if you're taking a photo, they're telling you that. So they're definitely taking this pretty serious here. And I still feel pretty safe despite the large crowds because it looks like most everybody's complying. You can take your mask off here, of course, if you're going to eat or anything like that. Back in that direction is going to be Space Mountain, and we'll show you a couple of more spots around here today. But the point being, I just wanted you guys to know what your experience would be like at Disney World in the middle of the pandemic. Yeehaw! Guess what? We made our way to the Tomorrowland Speedway. Always one of the family's favorites whenever we came to Disneyland or Disney World. And we are flying across this beautiful race course. If you've never been here, you gotta do the Tomorrowland Speedway, where we're probably gonna eclipse 3 to 4 miles per hour. It's a beautiful day though, temperature in the 80s, it's January. Up ahead of me in that red car, believe it or not, that's a wedding party. And you can see we've got the roadway to ourselves today at the Tomorrowland Speedway. Wait time here was less than 15 minutes. So a pretty friendly place to come without a long wait. So that's about it, everyone, on our little trip here to Disney World, Florida in January in the middle of the pandemic. And I'm not going to take you through every single part of the park. You all have done that. That wasn't the point of what we were doing here today, but it was more to talk about what the experience would be like. Now, as I mentioned before, the park is supposedly at 30% of capacity. However, as we look around, wow, I'd hate to be here at 100% of capacity because 30% is pretty doggone full as well. Now, if you were like me and thinking the lines would be less, well, they may be, but they are still extensive. You still want to invest in getting the fast pass as often as you can. But the lines, as you can no doubt see here, continue to be very, very long. In fact, over there, it's a small world, and the line is extensive for it as well. I might also mention some of the gift shops are closed. Many of the restaurants are open. You don't see as many of the characters and the shows taking place. In fact, I haven't seen any during my visit to the Disney World park. Might also mention the entire experience of wearing a mask for an entire day on a warm, humid Florida climate can be a little challenging as well. Maybe I need a different type of mask, but this one, it gets to be a little uncomfortable after just a short period of time. And don't even think about taking off that mask because they will get you. They will escort you out of the park, in fact. So there you have it. Hopefully this helped you just a little bit in your possible plans for coming to Disney World, Florida. It's certainly been a different experience for me. And later on, I think I may go over and check out Epcot, have a little dinner there. Now, as we always say, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Traveling with Jack and Pam. Also, you can check out my podcast, available on all of the major platforms. And until we see you next time, you know what we always say, make it a great day. But better yet, let's make it a better tomorrow. So long, everybody, from Disney World.